If you grew up in the 90s or the 2000s or before that, you most certainly would know the Omni. The most popular use case for the iconic Maruti van was to ferry kids to and from school. But over the years, the car that somewhat resembled a bread box earned a rather unfortunate reputation thanks to Bollywood films back in the day. It came to be known as the OG kidnapper van. Well into the 2000s, the mustachioed goons and gundas in classic Bollywood action films upgraded their wheels. They weren't zipping around chasing their enemies in Omnis anymore. Instead, they were driving big, imposing SUVs, the kind that resembled full blown army tanks. And that led to the omnification of SUVs, where they also developed somewhat of a reputation. We would all assume that they were reserved for politicians, actors, and, well, goons, and nothing in between. For decades, that was reflected in sales as well. The Ken reporter Ronak Kumar Gunjan studied 25 years of data from the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers. And he found that between 2000 and 2010, there were only two SUVs that regularly made it to the top 10 list of best passenger vehicles: Mahindra Bolero and Mahindra Scorpio. And these were both used almost exclusively by travel agencies in rural belts. The rest of the list was dominated by hatchbacks and sedans, which for the longest time were widely perceived as the ultimate family cars. But turns out something has changed. Ronak visited dealerships of nearly every major car maker and noticed a rapidly growing trend. SUVs have undergone a bit of a rebranding exercise. They are now being sold as the ultimate family car. You see, they're positioning it as not just a car that can take you from point A to point B, but a fortress that can keep your family safe on treacherous Indian roads. So if you walk into a car dealership today and express an interest in purchasing an SUV, you likely hear a sales executive harp on about a solid build quality and about it being muscular, imposing, and aggressive. The word on the street, according to multiple sales executives and industry insiders, is that Indian car makers are deliberately positioning their vehicles as rolling citadels. And it is working. They've managed to do something that hasn't been done before here in India. SUVs are now outshining hatchbacks in annual sales. And the number of SUVs that are making it to that top 10 list of cars is only getting larger. Currently, the top spot is taken by Tata Punch, a compact SUV that benefits from lower taxes because of its sub 4-meter length. We've actually spoken about why the Punch succeeded in a recent episode of Daybreak. But here's the thing. This love for SUVs among buyers is kind of like the inexplicable craze around skinny jeans. No one likes them except the manufacturers and the ones in them. Simply put, more SUVs on the road mean more worry for everyone else. Welcome to Daybreak, a business podcast from the Ken. I'm your host Rahil Philippos, and I don't chase the news cycle. Instead, every day of the week, my colleagues Snigdha and I come to you with one business story that is worth understanding and worth your time. Today is Tuesday, the 11th of March. Ronak spoke to government officials, police, and urban planners, and they all seem to express the same concerns. The trend of buying more SUVs can be risky from a safety perspective. The funny thing is, no one actually wanted to go on record about it, and all of their reasons were almost entirely the same. They all said that India's shift to larger cars reflects prosperity and higher disposable incomes after the pandemic, and nobody wanted to deviate from that narrative. Even official traffic accident reports have gone quiet. The Transport Ministry hasn't published nationwide data since assessment year back in 2022. And an official told Ronak that this was because of delays in quote-unquote verification. But the same official did have access to provisional traffic accident data for 2024 from 15 of the 28 states, including major ones in terms of vehicle use like Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, and Uttar Pradesh. The official refused to share the data with us, but they did allow us to glance through some Excel sheets on their screen. They pointed out some key correlations that indicate a very worrying trend. Road accidents in most of these states hit an all-time high in 2024, surpassing 2015, which had been the deadliest year on record. Overspeeding remains the top cause, and rear-end collisions, where one vehicle plows into the back of another, are the most frequent type of accident. The Ken reviewed the annual reports on traffic accidents from 2010 to 2022 and found out the reason for accidents and the type of accidents have mostly remained the same. But what has changed is the car fatality rate. That's the number of deaths caused by cars as a proportion of total fatal road accidents each year. Now, according to the official, the real impact of this SUV craze in terms of accidents will be far more stark after 2025. That's because historically, cars that are 2 to 4 years old cause the most road accidents. The logic is simple. Drivers become far more comfortable and then they start speeding. Since one in every two cars sold in India in 2023 and 2024 is an SUV, these vehicles will inevitably enter the danger zone by the end of 2026. And the severity of the accident is generally much worse when it comes to SUVs. That's because of the height of the bonnet, which is the hood of the car. A doctor at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences also corroborated this. They said an SUV can cause more permanent damage or death even if the car is going at 20 kilometers per hour. Does that stop people from climbing behind the wheel of their dream SUVs? It doesn't seem so. Stay tuned. The Ken spoke to a dozen potential car buyers across dealerships, and none of them were even considering a hatchback. Most buyers believe that a compact SUV feels like way better value for money. Like one car dealer put it, they get the looks of a small SUV at a price that's only slightly higher than a hatchback. And they get the added security of more ground clearance. It works out well for the manufacturer because it means more profits. You see, the difference in production cost between a hatchback and a compact SUV typically ranges from about 10 to 15%, especially when built on the same platform, which means they would share many core components like chassis, suspension system, and floor plan. But the retail price can be 25 to even 50% higher just because of the structure, ground clearance, and other cosmetic features. Take, for instance, Maruti's Baleno, which is a hatchback, and the Fronx, which is its crossover. Or Hyundai's i20, which is a hatchback, and Venue, which is its compact SUV. Or in Honda's case, the Jazz, which is a hatchback, and the WRV, which is the crossover. They all share the same platform, resulting in minimal production cost differences. So it's a great deal for both manufacturers and buyers. But there is one segment of people that's not too crazy about this new trend: real estate developers. Just take Delhi, for instance. In places like Dwarka or Gurgaon, dominated by high rises and half finished towers, builders are struggling to provide ample parking space. We spoke to a senior executive at a Gurgaon based real estate firm who painted a pretty grim picture. They said earlier a parking lot could typically fit 100 cars into one space. But now, with so many more SUVs entering the picture, the number has come down to 90. Now that most families have two cars, the problem is even more complicated to solve. Earlier, you could just allocate about 3.5 to 3.9 meters in length and around 1.6 meters in width per car, and most cars would fit, with a few exceptions that could then be adjusted. But that just doesn't work anymore. So they are all scrambling to find more parking space, which in many cases means digging deeper and deeper for multi-level basements or redesigning the whole plan altogether. Both of which, naturally, are extremely expensive options. It's also not just a parking crunch. These SUVs are also too heavy for Indian roads. For example, Maruti's Fronx weighs about 50 to 100 kgs more than the Baleno, putting added pressure on road surfaces. This extra strain speeds up road wear and tear, leading to more frequent maintenance and repairs. A civil engineer Ronak spoke to explained that roads are usually designed to handle trucks and lorries, which are much heavier than cars. But these heavy vehicles are usually restricted only on city roads, helping distribute the load. You see, if the average load on roads consistently increases, the subgrade layer, which is the foundation made of local soil, begins to cave. And that causes roads to collapse or form crater-like cavities. And as if crumbling roads were not enough, there are also massive traffic jams to consider. One official from Pune told Ronak that the average commute time during office hours has gone up by nearly 12 minutes. So, for that satisfying door thud, that solid build, and commanding seating position, Indian car buyers are making everyone else pay the price.
Daybreak is produced from the newsroom of The Ken, India's first subscriber-focused business news platform. What you're listening to is just a small sample of our subscriber-only offerings. A full subscription unlocks daily long-form feature stories, newsletters, and podcast extras. Head to theken.com and click on the red subscribe button on the top of the website. Today's episode was hosted by Rahel Philippos and edited by Rajiv CN.